Mahmoud Traina is a young doctor who gives back to his patients, his students, and the medical community. So when the Libyan revolution started, he knew he had to help.
I love what I do. It's kind of like the perfect job for me. You get to help people. You get to, and I work at a teaching hospital, so I get to teach. I get to do research and kind of advance different causes. In my opinion, you only go into a field like medicine if you really want to try to make a difference. I mean, there's a lot of other fields to make money and to live a comfortable life. We train we have medical students and residents and fellows, so people who are specializing in internal medicine and then people who are specializing in cardiology. Okay, wait, before you give meds, stop. Let's give 1 of Versed and 50 of Benadryl.
50 of Benadryl?
Are you okay, Mr. Bernardino? You feeling nervous?
Yeah.
Huh?
It's okay.
You still nervous? You want a little more medication?
A little.
Okay. Thank you. J-wire going back in.
Alright.
Position it better this time?
Yeah, I'm going to try to get it closer.
Straighten it out this part?
I did it towards the left. Usually counterworks the best, but sometimes you have to go apart, so it's hard to tell. Now I can clearly see that's the collaterals is to the to the RCA, right?
Yeah.
Looks like a 50-ish% lesion. So what are we gonna do? What would you do? So now this is your
That
patient.
means stenting.
Mr. Bernardino,
Yes.
we're finishing up, okay?
Okay.
Everything went well. How you feeling?
Pretty good.
Okay, good. Okay, let me just take off my mask. I'll come talk to you, okay?
Okay.
I think we're going to need to do an ultrasound test of the left artery where they go in and they look at it by ultrasound to see if it's significant.
Mm-hmm.
If it's really severe, then we'll need bypass surgery.
All right.
All right, so we'll get you off the table and then answer any other questions you have. You know, it's feels like a responsibility, the next generation of physicians, so that they'll be able to continue the work and do a better job with their own patients. And it's kind of fun being able to work with people in that kind of manner. This lady has a big, dilated heart, very huge. And Chagas disease is kind of where I found kind of my niche where I can kind of do a lot of work to help, I think, a huge underserved population. Chagas disease is basically a parasite disease that's passed along through a bug that's found throughout the Americas and can cause an acute infection. Initially people get a little sick, but then it kind of lays dormant for years, and then 20 years down the line people present with end-stage heart failure and their hearts stop working and they're very, very sick. It affects about 15 million people worldwide throughout the Americas. Primarily in Latin America, but it's completely unrecognized and undertreated here in the US. She's had this heart failure, this big dilated heart failure for 5 years from Chagas disease. Nobody knew why. Nobody decided to check. She came from classic, she's a Latin American immigrant. Nobody decided to screen her for it. This affects 15 million, but it's neglected because the people it affects are people who come from rural, poor areas of Latin America. And so, those people all across the world get less attention and their diseases get less attention. So, so this is something kind of I'm pretty passionate about and try to increase awareness about. Most Libyans that came in the 70s and 80s were sent by the government to the US. So they came for school, higher levels of degrees, supposed to go back. But because of the political situation around, that's when the time when Gaddafi really started promoting his Green Book and all his crazy ideologies. So most of them became involved in the opposition, and most, they ended up not being able to go back. I consider myself Libyan American, but this is what I know. I've grown up here. I'm from LA. I know LA. I'm American. This is where I grew up, this is what I know. When Libya started, I didn't expect that the people would show that degree of bravery. to go out and then be killed and then go out more and then be killed more and then go out more. And it was very awe-inspiring, but the human toll was horrendous, you know. And then we were watching the news and we were just wondering, what can we do to help the people? Because every day, at first it started with 20 people, I think, the first day, then 100, then 200, and 500 dead, thousands injured, hospitals full.
From the beginning of the revolution, he sort of had that idea in the back of his mind, and he mentioned it a couple of times. And I was emotional at that point, so I wouldn't really reply, but I couldn't even believe he was thinking about it, because at that time, I was entering into my 7th month. And like, obviously I was worried that I would end up being a widow and that his baby would be without a father.
I was worried for her, you know. I mean, obviously I didn't want to leave her at that point. But these are our families, our people. If we don't help, who's going to help? I get a call from a friend of mine who was in Dubai. He calls me and says there's huge shortage of physicians and we need help in kind of arranging medical supplies. Can you come?
It was nerve-wracking. It was very nerve-wracking, and I just basically would get, he was pretty good about trying to call me every day, even if it was for like 20 seconds. He would just be like, I'm okay, I'm fine, everything's good, how are you? Okay, I'll talk to you later.
They stationed me at one of the hospitals there, Al Hawari Hospital, and I worked in the ICUs primarily.
I think a lot of people write that in their medical school application, like, I want to, like, you know, help out humanity and stuff. But when I got married to him, I realized, like, no, he's gonna put an action to his word. So it's, he's gonna be he is the father of, like, my son, and that's exactly what I want my son to, like, look up to.
You know, I kept joking even when I got back, somebody don't let him out until Gaddafi's gone. We don't want him out. We only want him to know a free Libya.
He doesn't have to try. He's trying real hard.